So in this series, we're looking at your iron game. Now, when it comes to your irons, we want to be looking at all the different possibilities that can come into play when you're hitting them. We're looking at the impact location, we're looking at shot shaping, and we are also looking at flighting the ball differently in different weather conditions. All of these things are going to come together to really help you control your irons, get phenomenal distance control, and the most important bit of all, this should all then translate into phenomenal scoring on the golf course. Watch this whole series through. It's got to be bits in there that are going to make a massive difference to your golf game. So we're talking about how to hit a fade with your irons. Now, the key element is you've obviously got to have that ball moving left to right if you're a predominant drawer of the golf ball, so you're going to be working against your natural shape. So there's some key elements that come into being able to fade that golf ball. One of the first things you have to understand is where the club comes into the ball. So what is that bottom of the arc doing? So when we're talking about this, I like to see that the ball is a little further in the front of the stance, so it gives the club face a chance to close a little bit more. One of the big things that I see when people are trying to fade the golf ball is that in order to hit the fade, they hold the club face open. The face ends up pointing a bit too far right at the target. They hit the fade shot, but it's a weak push cut. So make sure the ball is far enough forward so you can start that ball to the left side of the target. That is essential. What else we're then looking for is we obviously need to have the club face open to the path. Now what we're talking about is that the path is going to be going to the left. We need the club face pointing right of that. That means that the ball can move to the right in the air. So what I'd be looking at is making sure that when I've got myself in the setup position, I'm aiming my body quite a bit more to the left. So I'd stand there normally to hit a draw, so I'm aiming a bit right. So this time I'm aiming left to target, and I'm getting the club face pointing in between where my feet are pointing and the flag. I then commit to making the movement along the body lines, okay, just swinging on there and really unwinding hard on the way through. And as long as I make sure that club face stays open to the path, for me, I have the vision in my mind of don't let the toe of the club pass the heel. For me, it doesn't mean I'm holding it off, it just means I'm not letting the closure rate take over. So what I like to do is get the rehearsal behind the target, behind the ball, visualising the shot shape that I want to hit, and making sure that the path is shifting more to the left by opening the body more, and if anything, opening the shoulders more. The big bit is making sure those shoulders are going to be open enough at address. Now once we get in, we're going to pick out that target line. I've got the stance open, face is left of the target, but in between my stance and the target itself. Now I'm just going to make sure I open the body on the way through and don't let the toe pass the heel. So that's my perfect cut shape for me. That's holding up there and just dropping back to the right a tiny little bit. That's the absolute ideal shot that I wanted to play right there. The key for me was making sure that I committed to rotating through on my body lines, and I rehearsed the feeling of how I wanted the club to come through the ball at impact by getting that sensation through what it was going to do with the right hand. Always rehearse what you want the impact to be, because that is what's going to change that ball flight for you. And then once you've got that, envisage the shot you want to hit, and then totally and utterly commit to the start line and the shot you're going to hit. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do so. Loads of great content coming. We've got some short game stuff, we've got pitching, drivers, we've got everything to help you shoot lower scores.